Hello there, I'm Anka Novakovic with EcoCoach, and I help organizations be more eco-friendly and green, and I've been doing it for 13 plus years, and I'm loving it. So today what I wanted to do was give you a few tips about enhancing well-being in the workplace by going green, right? So there are tons of studies that show that productivity goes up, absenteeism goes down when you introduce green elements in your workplace. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I know some of those numbers you kind of think about it and you're like, oh, they're kind of hard to quantify. Well, they have been quantified by quite a few studies and articles, so I'm going to share some of those today. And as I've mentioned in past Facebook Lives, I'm not very good at remembering numbers, so I am going to be sharing those numbers with you today. Starting with, obviously, going green has a lot of benefits. What I wanted to do today was just focus on this one particular thing around going green in the workplace. So if you're a small business owner, if you work in a small business, if you're a sustainability champion, if you're an entrepreneur and kind of looking to get the edge somehow, going green and these things are going to help you get there. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, and there are, again, like I mentioned, there are a lot of articles that show that a green workplace enhances productivity. There's one article that shows that it enhances productivity by over 15%, that sickness-related absenteeism can go down by up to 30%. And obviously going green means a whole bunch of different things. It means building with eco-friendly building materials and kind of chemical-free. It means looking at green cleaning products. It means a whole range of things. But I'm going to look at the easier things to do for most of you who I think are limited budget and have limited time, okay? And there's actually a number that I wanted to share here with you, which is according to the Global Impact on Biophilic Design in the Workplace study, individuals who worked in places with natural elements reported 15% higher levels of overall well-being. And you also have the World Green Building Council that reports 11% productivity gains from improved ventilation, up to 18% from access to daylight and operable windows, and 28% from well-designed lighting. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest is look at natural lighting and how you can enhance, if you can enhance natural lighting and the position of everyone's desks and the position of where everyone works from related to natural light. So natural lighting is actually has been shown to be the #1 determinant of workplace satisfaction, believe it or not. And as you may know, it enhances mood, it equilibrates hormone levels, and it reduces stress. It does all sorts of awesome things, which is one of the reasons that I'm outdoors, because I love being outdoors and I try to get there as much as possible. Of course, it's kind of hot right now in DC, so you're also going to see me sweating, so excuse me for that. So back to natural lighting. Think about ways that you can improve or expose your colleagues to natural lighting. And one of the things that's becoming more and more popular now is to have working meetings that are outdoors. So you have a walking meeting, and you can go with your colleague and just go for a walk and talk. You can think about different ways that you can get outdoors if you have, just 15 minutes if you don't have natural lighting in your building, okay, if you don't have enough natural lighting. And of course, the second item related to that is looking at your existing lights, right? So a lot of buildings are either pretty old or have been designed with either dim or harsh lighting on purpose. A lot of them are by design, and the problem with either dim or harsh lighting, so it's too little or too much light, is that it can cause migraines, it can cause headaches, it also causes stress in some folks. So what you want to do is kind of take stock of what your lighting is like. See if you can include task lighting, see if you can change the light bulbs to those that mimic day lighting. So even though you might not be able to have natural light, you can still have something that mimics daylight at your desk, right? And think about it in the sense of, the amount of time that each person spends at their desk or at their workplace, right? So in an area where people don't spend that much time, the lighting can still be dim or it can be harsh. You know, that's not the priority. But if a person's let's say you're working in a plant, right? If people spend most of their time right there on the line, kind of assembling things or what have you, then that's where you want to do the lighting. If you are an office-based business, that's where you want to look at the lighting. If you're a retail business, you want to look at lighting on the floor. And just as a side note, I'm not sure if you have seen studies about this, but there are different studies that show that natural lighting actually improves sales by up to 20%. So, by the way, I'm sharing all of these different numbers, and there is a blog that is tied to this, and I'll link to it in the comments, so that if you're interested in kind of getting the resources for this and the sources and kind of digging deeper, you will have that information in there. Okay, so moving on, number 3 is adding some plants, and you may have heard this or not. Even being within eyesight of plants actually improves your mood, it reduces depression, and here are some really interesting stats with that. One study found that plants added to a workplace to reduce tension. So if you add plants to the workplace and you have one on your desk or you have one within eyesight, it reduced tension and anxiety by 37%, fatigue by 38%, and depression by 58%. Those are huge, huge numbers, right? So if you think about it, anything that is, and back to that study with biophilic design, if you're within eyesight of nature, nature is just good for us. This is the way that we're wired. We're wired to be outdoors. We're wired to kind of interact with nature. And so anything that brings us closer to that is something that is good, and that's going to help our body improve. So that's another way to increase productivity and reduce sickness and absenteeism. So if you're just joining us, we've been talking about 3 things. The first one was looking at natural light and how do you enhance natural light, or how do you enhance access to natural light. The second one is looking at your lighting, your overall lighting, and making sure it's not too dim and too harsh. And the third one that I just finished talking about is adding plants to the workplace, because when you're adding plants to the workplace, you again are you're also increasing creativity. There's one study that shows that plants within eyesight actually increase creativity by 15%. So if you're in an office or in a business where you want to be more creative, you know, anything helps, right? So you want to design your workplace so you also have plants in there. Number 5 is providing a water cooler. And I'm just as a side note, I'm in a park, and so there are dogs running around, so I'm like expecting a dog to just come running over here. So I'm looking down just to make sure I'm not, you know, stepping on any little critter, poor little thing. Anyway, so providing a water cooler or water filtration at the office. So this is for the US. 75% of Americans are dehydrated. That's a huge number, right? And again, I'm going to keep mentioning studies, but one study actually shows that if you're dehydrated by 1%, that decreases your productivity by 12%. And if you're dehydrated by 3 to 5%, that decreases your productivity by up to 25%. So think about it. You know, we all work, we all get busy, we all substitute water with coffee or with tea. In my case, it's tea most of the time. And we forget to drink water. Okay? And at the end of the day, we wonder why we're tired, while we're running out of steam, right? So why we have a headache. So one of the easy ways to help that out and help your colleagues with that is having free access to clean water within easy reach, right? So we're not talking about plastic bottles, we're talking about a water cooler or a filtration device. And what you want to do is, I think most of you guys probably already have this, and what you want to do, obviously, to be more green, is you don't want to be using disposable cups. You want to use glasses, right? So even if you don't think you can afford it, go to your local Goodwill, pick up some additional glasses that can just be used for the office and for colleagues in the office, and you're going to be doing some good for some folks. Because, by the way, side note plug, this is one of my clients, but Goodwill takes what the profits from their stores and helps train folks who need it, who might not otherwise get job training and placement. So just side note. Okay, so and again, it's really easy to forget to drink water, so drink some water. The 5th way is kind of a bucket catch-all, and that is identifying ways to make your staff more comfortable. And really what I'm talking about here is looking at ventilation and temperature, right? So a lot of times there's either too much air or not enough air in your workplace, and it's either too hot or too cold. And I totally get it that we all have different body temperature points, and so obviously depending on what you've been doing or what your work is, you know, you want higher or lower temperature, and that's okay. What you want to do, what I would suggest that you want to do is send out a survey, see what people think of, see how you can tweak the temperature and the airflow so that you can make folks more comfortable. And again, there's studies that have shown that this increases productivity. I just shared one early on at the beginning of this Facebook Live, and what you're doing there again is making people more comfortable. You're making yourself more comfortable, and that way you are able to enjoy and focus more at work. So there you have it. Those are the 5 ways that you can increase well-being if you are just tuning in now. The first one was natural lighting. The second one is looking at your fake lighting, essentially, and your conventional kind of light bulbs. The third one is adding plants to the office. The fourth one is water filtration, and the fifth one is increasing occupant comfort, which is really ventilation and temperature, the way that I'm using it now. So those are 5 low-cost things that you can do and relatively pretty much start doing them today, and I bet you're already doing some of them. Of course, once you're looking at that and you're like, okay, I've done these things, there are other things that you can do. And if you have a budget, think about anything from, you know, offering healthier organic snacks to your staff, to making sure that the cleaning crew is cleaning with green cleaning products. And whenever you're changing anything within the space, looking at the eco-friendly alternative, the one with less chemicals, again, that's shown to reduce absenteeism, increase productivity, enhance well-being, and overall make people happier in the workplace, which is what we all want. We want to enjoy the place where we spend the majority of our days, right? Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And like I mentioned, there is a blog that's related to this that has links to some of those studies. I'm going to post it down here. You can also go to eco-coach.com/blog and check it out. Check this and other blogs out there. We also have a sustainability checklist, so if you're just started with going green and want to kind of figure out where you're going to go, then you can take a look at that checklist. And that's also, I'll post the link down below, but it's also on the eco-coach.com homepage. You could just click on there, and it's free. So have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.